Alright, so we're going to be installing the through rods today on the front of this 68 Bug. It's pretty easy to do. You're going to just need to remove the wheel and brake assembly, and then you'll need to get to the A-arms. Once you get to those, you can pull them directly out and put these in place of the spring packs inside of the front beams. So we'll go ahead and show you how to do that right now.
Both those loosened up. This will literally just pull it right on out. Cleaned it off, and then when you go to put it back in, you can just grease it back up. And in my case, I'm going to be pulling everything out. I'm going to be putting in through rods, which are solid rods all the way through, getting rid of the torsion springs, and then getting rid of this bearing and putting in polyurethane bushings there. So let me go ahead and just pull these all out, get them cleaned up, and then I'll get them pressed, and I'll show you how they go back in. Alright guys, so we're going to be pulling out these torsion springs. The easiest way to do it, well, in fact the only way to do it, is to get up underneath the front end of your vehicle. Okay, you have a screw here and one up top. Okay, those are 3/4 inch or 19 millimeter, and then the center is 5/16 or 8 millimeter socket. So you're going to want to loosen those up and pull them completely out in order to slide these springs out. Okay. So I recommend getting a rag as you pull them out. They're going to be fairly greasy. You can see all that buildup. So as you're pulling them out, I wipe them down, and then I also would tape them up so you don't lose them and they stay together. So if you ever want to put them back in, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the end here, tape it, wipe down the center, and tape some more, and then pull them completely out. So to store these, I think the best thing to do is tape them up completely, so you don't get grease everywhere. Go ahead and mark them so you have driver top, driver bottom, passenger top, passenger bottom. So you just have them labeled, so if you ever want to put them back in, you know which one's going up and which one's going to the passenger or driver's side. So now that I got these fully taped up, I'm going to tape them together and then just store them away and hold on to them. Just in case I want to put them back in, I got them. If not, then hey, I can always sell them. So let's go ahead and get that those two bearings on this side and the two bearings on the passenger side pulled out to get ready for the polyurethane inserts. So the best way to get these rubber bushings off, you can't twist them off. The best way is to actually just take a mallet and give them a couple little taps on both sides, and then you should be able to pull them off. Looks like I'll probably need a couple more taps on that one before I can actually pull it off. There we go. So it pretty much just popped right off. So now you can get to the bearings. So now you can get into these bearings and pull those out. And now that's going to be a little more challenging because you got to actually get in there with something to pull it back. So let me see what I can. There guys, so I think I got the right tool for the job to pull those bearings out. You got to pull them out from the inside out. What you need is a slide hammer, okay? And basically the way these things work is you just twist them, and you'll see those jaws starting to open up. And once they lock onto your bearings, then you're just going to use this and slide it back as fast as you can. I got the passenger side arms back on with the new bushings. I'm going to go ahead and put the through rods in. They're a really easy job. Basically, you're just going to slide it through that hole, and then you guys slide it through the center hole where you have the locking nut. And then once it's all the way through, you can put a nut on this side, and then we're going to go ahead and put the arms and bushings on the other side. I'll show you what we need to do with the bushings on the other side. I just want to get these things in, get the through rods in, and then I'll show you what needs to happen on the other side. Alright, so now that we have this nut on, it comes with an Allen key, so you can just twist it on and then that'll lock it in place. Just get it about a 1/4 inch on. Then you're just going to stick it through this outer hole. There we go, we found the center. Okay, so it should be poking out the other side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other one. Now these threads on these through rods, they're both right-hand threads, so you don't have to worry about which side's which as far as left or right-hand threads go. Okay, so both those are in there now. Now we're going to go to the other side and put the, like I said, the control arms, the bushings, and then we'll put that nut on the other side. Okay, so these bushings come with a grease packet. I'm going to go ahead and use bearing grease in here. I don't think there's any issue with it, but I'm going to use bearing grease on it because there's already bearing grease in those holes. So figured it shouldn't affect this polyurethane. So there's actually a different size of tubing for each one. The bigger one's going to go on the bottom one. You'll see how it tapers off at the bottom, and then this one is almost straight. That's the smaller one which goes on the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some grease on your hand. You're going to just go ahead and coat the outside, coat the inside. When you're putting the controlling arms on, you want to make sure the one that has the shock mount goes on the bottom. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you know, just so you know which one's which, grab the one that has that extra piece hanging off the side, which is actually for the shock. Okay, so now that's all well lubed up. Then go ahead and put that on the bottom one. Alright, so now that I got the nut on, I'm going to put a lock nut on top of this, just to be safe, just so it's added protection. Now, go ahead and put these locking nuts in, but don't let them touch the rod. So you're going to want to back the Allen key or Allen out so that the nut is lower, and it actually will still just plug the hole, but it won't touch the rod. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those up right now.